Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Never Over Live post show for WWE Hell in a Cell. We just wrapped up the main event, which saw Charlotte regain the Women's Championship over Sasha Banks in the inaugural Women's Hell in a Cell Championship match. Let's talk about the card a little bit. We'll run through the results, give our quick takes on the match that occurred.
Yep.
And we'll talk about the who is the Never Over champion to end things. So, match that opened the show, we saw Roman Reigns defend his United States Championship against Rusev in what was a very entertaining match.
Yeah, massively entertaining match. For me, it was probably the match of the night. Rusev and Roman Reigns put on a great match. Kind of set the tone for the rest of the pay-per-view, so it was a really solid start there with that match. It was
a match I think we expected to see a lot of brutality out of.
Yeah.
It was as I've likened the term of it. It was a WWE style match, and that it wasn't technical by any means. It was very they were very, very violent, like using the weaponry, but using it in a way that it wasn't overzealous. I thought they did a lot of great spots in the match. We saw Table come into play, but not come into play. It was all right. Brad, what did you think of the match overall?
I'll have to agree with Dawson. It would be my match of the night. It was a really good match. The only thing that kind of really annoyed me, I guess, technically, is when they took the kendo stick to Roman Reigns' stomach and chest that is protected by the supposed Kevlar that he's got in that vest.
The vest certainly padding, making not really hard selling up as far as what it can do to Roman Reigns, the damage that can be done. I think it would have been a great spot to see that vest come off him.
Yeah.
At one point, it would have been a great spot to add to it. But Roman Reigns successfully defending his United States Championship against Rusev. After that, we saw the Dana Brooke versus Bayley match, which was pretty standard fare. I think we all knew what was coming up.
Yeah.
As far as that match went.
No surprises. Very open and closed match.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Very just so-so.
Bayley with the squash, per se. Very, very easy to watch match overall. Pretty easy to digest. After that, we saw the Club finally get a win. A much-needed pay-per-view win.
Needed a win desperately.
Over Enzo and Cass. It wasn't pretty. Once again, by any means, I don't think it was dirty. I think it was a quick, clean win.
Yeah.
But finally, after so long of going winless, getting squashed on Raw, hopefully this is a great turning point for them. The Club getting win over Enzo and Cass. After that, we saw the Cruiserweight Championship match.
It was the Universal.
The Universal Championship match, the Hell in a Cell match, with Kevin Owens, the Universal Champion, defending his title against Seth Rollins, in which has been a highly contested. They've been going at it for a while now. They had their match at Clash of Champions that saw interference at the end. This match, kind of the same, had interference as well, this time in the form of Chris Jericho, but all's fair in love and Hell in a Cell, apparently, as Chris Jericho's involvement led to Kevin Owens retaining the title. We saw some interesting hijinks after the match with Chris Jericho hitting a code breaker on Seth Rollins, maybe leading to a rivalry there, potentially, you think?
Yeah, definitely going to stir a rivalry there. They made that very clear. Not sure who the next competitor for KO is going to be. But, yeah, definitely looks like they're setting up Chris Jericho, Seth Rollins, and it looks like they're kind of torching the whole Triple H thing.
Yeah.
They're leaving that whole thing in the dust.
On the table. It's really hard to say that that's going to happen just because I feel like it's kind of leaving a false negative with just bringing Triple H into the fold and then throwing him away just like that. Be interested to see what happens there. I think, personally, we'll see Triple H tomorrow night on Raw, but I could be wrong. Could very well be wrong. They may be just abandoning that feud just like that. But to summarize, Kevin Owens retaining his Universal Championship over Seth Rollins. And we'll see what happens tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw. Following that was the Cruiserweight Championship match, I believe. We saw the Brian Kendrick capture the Cruiserweight Championship over TJ Perkins with a very smart win, playing a false injury up there.
Yeah, playing the fall. He kind of fell off, came down, landed on the ankle kind of awkwardly, and then all of a sudden he was playing up being hurt. Great work there. Kind of everybody was confused as to what was going on, and then quickly turned that into the bully hook and got the win. And starts off a new reign for the Cruiserweight champions.
Much necessary change of phase. Brad, what do you think of that match?
It went the way I thought it was going to go. So I think this is just gonna. I know you guys think that it might hurt the Cruiserweight division by having such a quick turnover in a champion, especially the guy that for 10 weeks went through the Cruiserweight Championship.
Yeah.
But I think what this does now is it gives a heel in the power position that they can send a face or faces. They can send that after that title. And you know Kendrick's going to play dirty to keep that title.
Yeah.
Because for how bad he's been saying he's wanted it, he's just going to play dirty. And I think you can put that on Kendrick and he can take it for a while and he can just take face after face after face.
Yeah.
Maybe it gives TJ a chance to, like, maybe try and spruce up his character a little bit, kind of, because he was kind of, a lot of people were saying that he's flat, like he's not very interesting. This gives him a chance to kind of, not necessarily take a backseat, but kind of just not be the champion, not have to carry the belt, not have that pressure.
Well, it's interesting because he's down in NXT during the doing the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. He's Kota Ibushi's partner after Hideo Itami suffered an injury that put him on the sidelines.
Oh, really?
So maybe you'll see TJ Perkins spend more time down in NXT really truly developing his character a little bit, working on those skills he really needs to work on. Because he is, like you said, he is flat a little bit. Yeah. And like I said, I think you'll see a Becky Lynch situation happen now where Becky was always a great challenger, maybe not necessarily a good champion, but it was always good to root for Becky.
Yeah.
So I think having a heel champion like Bryan really gives the opportunity for the WWE Universe to rally around somebody, whether it's Cedric Alexander, whether it's TJ Perkins after some work, whether it's Rich Swann, a new contender, somebody that you can actually build a good story around, I think, a fresh face.
Yep.
After that, we saw
the New Day versus Cesaro and Sheamus. Kind of a weird match there all around. Yeah. It had some great moments, some good spots, a lot of power moves. Big E continues to be probably one of the more underutilized wrestlers in a kind of a topical sense.
Xavier Woods spent a lot of time in that ring.
He does take a beating regularly, and it's good to see because he was for the longest time during the earlier span of the reign of the New Day was taking the backseat, was playing more of a managerial role.
Yeah.
And so I remember when I saw him in the ring for the first time.
He had a lot of great moves tonight.
Yeah,
showed a lot of skill set, great mic ability. He got the trio of them is just a good package, and it's. Some people may say the whole New Day thing's getting stale, but I don't know. Like I don't know what to do with the three of them by themselves. Like they're just
evolve. They're like. As much as it's weird to make this reference, they're like South Park in the way that they take the meta that is right now, and they put it back out into the WWE Universe, constantly staying fresh with their references. Yeah. They know what's funny, they know what's good, they know how to connect with the WWE Universe in a way that makes themselves relevant and keeps their gimmick intact.
Yeah,
they have a great gimmick that is refreshable.
All that said, it ended up that Kofi was the guy not in the match. It was Xavier Woods and Big E. And then Xavier ended up, what's his, the finish?
Trouble in Paradise.
Trouble in Paradise kick. He hit Sheamus outside. Ref saw it. He then signaled for the bell for a DQ. All the while
Cesaro had Xavier Woods locked on the sharpshooter of the ring. The second the ref hit the bell for the DQ, Xavier started to tap, which creates an interesting shift there. Yeah. I think we'll see this feud continue, which is interesting. Be good to see because I think Cesaro and Sheamus, great tag team, tag team going forward.
Ultimately, I think it was the best way to end it because Cesaro and Sheamus are better than like power level wise than Big E, Xavier, and Kofi. I would agree. So to give them the win, I think that they played it the best way. It was a kind of chintzy finish, but I think it was that was the perfect way to play that. So after that, then we had the
main event, the inaugural Women's Hell in a Cell match for the Raw Women's Championship. Champion Sasha Banks could not retain against Charlotte Flair. No. We saw this match.
Interesting start. Charlotte hit Sasha out of the ring to start before the cell could get down. They got outside the cell, worked their way out of the crowd a bit, came back. Then cell was all the way down. They tried to climb the cell. That didn't happen. Charlotte powerbombed Sasha through a table. Then shit got weird and boring AF.
The momentum was killed pretty easily when they spent about 5 to 7 minutes with Sasha Banks working the devastating injury caused by the powerbomb through the announce table, and it really killed the momentum, I felt, early on.
Yeah.
And they had to try and dig their way out of that. Took them a little while. They hit some high spots, but ultimately after that, it was a little bit hard for them to get their footing, and the finish was a little bit interesting. Brad, what do you think?
Yeah, it was. I kind of agree. It kind of started out really strong. I was like, when Sasha got knocked out of the ring first, and I was worried they were gonna drop the cell on Sasha because where she landed and she wasn't moving.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, this is a different way, and I thought maybe the match wouldn't even start. I thought they were gonna stay outside of the cell the whole time and maybe go up to the top right away. Kind of didn't happen, but yeah, that whole faking the injury thing kind of it took the wind out of the match, and there were a lot of there was a lot of botches.
Yeah.
A lot of things happened that I don't think should have happened, and honestly, the way the match ended, where Sasha set up a table in the far corner from where Charlotte was. She got her in that powerbomb position and started walking across the ring.
Couldn't complete it.
And about halfway through, she dropped her, and I think that was it. And she went down and clutched her back, and I believe that is a true injury. I guarantee you tomorrow night, Sasha, there'll be some kind of announcement that Sasha is out for a certain amount of time due to an injury.
Yeah.
And it was just a very flat finish, so I think they just were like, okay, we got to end this to get you out of here.
Yeah.
And because I don't think Charlotte was supposed to win.
Maybe they left the women to call it in the ring as it was happening. Maybe they left the women to say, hey, we'll build creative around the finish. You guys set the finish in there. And maybe it just got to the point where they were just throwing everything at each other, and Sasha said, I'm hurt.
Yeah.
And so Charlotte had to take the win with a natural selection, which is a safe finish. Didn't put pressure on the
back,
probably injured back of Sasha Banks. It was just a good way to get the finish. So Charlotte regains the Women's Championship. All in all, what do you guys think of WWE Hell in a Cell, Raw's second exclusive brand pay-per-view?
Expectations were low, so I bet my expectations.
Yeah.
Raw's been struggling, and I think it's soared past. I think it's still a little behind SmackDown.
It's definitely still behind the SmackDown.
But that was better. I think they salvaged it a bit. I got a little more faith going into Survivor Series now.
Yeah, this pay-per-view was certainly a diamond in the rough in what has been a very, very rough few weeks for Raw.
Yeah.
A month or so
definitely.
for Raw.
Yeah.
Like you said, it certainly builds my hope going into if Raw's getting stronger and SmackDown's staying strong, it's going to make for a great first cross interpromotional pay-per-view, Survivor Series, which is in 3 weeks, November 20th. Keep it locked right here as we'll be having a pre-show starting at 6 p.m. Eastern, special start time, because Survivor Series is a 4-hour show. So make sure you keep it locked right here. We'll be doing a live pre-show like we did at the beginning of WWE Hell in a Cell, where we go over predictions, discussions, talk about what we think is going to go down. I'm sure we'll still, 3 weeks from now, have a lot to say about Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar.
I dare say so, yes.
It's going to be the gift that keeps on giving, I think.
And James Ellsworth.
And James Ellsworth as well. So we'll also be posting updates regularly on what's going on with Never Over on our Twitter account. You can follow us at Never Over Live. And we'll also be discussing things over there and this upcoming Wednesday on our Wrestle Recap podcast, episode 2, this upcoming Wednesday, where we recap what's happened this week in the WWE, as well as discussing more about how you can get involved with Never Over and win some championship gold with our Never Over Live People's Championship. But guys, I think that's it.
That is it.
Brad was successful.
Still,
while there was a draw as far as
we're done. Roll the credits.
While there was a draw as far as the predictions go between Brad and myself, in the event of a draw, champion retains. So Brad gets to continue his reign on through to Survivor Series. Congratulations to you, Brad. May you enjoy the next 3 weeks with your championship gold.
I will enjoy it very much.
And we will see what happens 3 weeks from tonight in Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
Yes.
At WWE Survivor Series. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Great night for Never Over. Great night for the WWE. And we'll see you next time.